energy healing. Now, there's been quite a lot on energy healing, or faith healing, spiritual healing. And this book, The Energy Cure by William Bengston, it's actually his experience with energy healing. And it's about the only one that actually has had clinical trials, scientific clinical trials with the energy healing. You want to find out more? Stay tuned. Welcome to the Brac Shop. This is the platform to the esoteric, which comprises of the paranormal, the spiritual, the unexplained, because I think they're all connected through quantum physics. And welcome back if you've seen my videos before. I'm actually broadcasting from the interview room, you could say, because if you're a regular, you know I usually broadcast from the shop, but I'm having a bit of a technical issue at the moment, so I'm going from the interview room, or the lounge, where I do our Saturday night lives. Every Saturday, 10:30 in the evening, UK time, is where we have our informal get-together gathering, where we discuss the past week and what's coming up in the future. And if you're subscribed, you'll be notified of when we go live. And you can watch it on replay as well. And don't forget, if you actually do like this episode, do share the video, click the like button below, and subscribe, as I mentioned, and click the bell so you won't miss out on the videos and when we do have our Saturday night lives. So, The Energy Cure by William Bengston. I'm basically giving it a book review because energy healing is something that it's known by quite a lot of other names. Hands-on healing, spiritual healing, faith healing, Reiki, and they're slightly different. Reiki is supposed to be slightly different, but they are very similar, and it's all healing and healing from a distance as well. And strangely enough, a lot of the time they do work. People have been cured. And what's fascinated me about William Bengston's energy healing is that he's actually documented it, as in scientific clinical trials, and he's had a very good success rate. And it's very fascinating. He writes his story in this book. It's been out for just over 10 years now, actually published in 2010, and it's not actually written by him, it's written by Sylvia Fraser, and she actually approached him. She said she wanted to write the story because she said that he wouldn't be able to write it, and if he did, it wouldn't be in a readable form. It'd be too scientific. So she's written the book for him, and as from his point of view, and it is an entertaining read as well. It starts off basically back in the 70s when William Bengston was at university, and he used to work at a swimming pool as a lifesaver, and he had a swimmer that would come in quite regularly, and they got to know each other quite well, and they became friends. Bennett Merrick. The thing is that Bennett actually didn't know his powers, I suppose you could say, at the time. And his trick, you could say, was that he could pick up things from other people. Let's say a watch or a wallet or even a business card. And he could feel their afflictions. If something was wrong with them, he would be able to pick up on it. And one day, when they were hanging out back at William Bengston's place, William Bengston always had suffered from a back pain. And in fact, it got so bad it actually stopped him from playing sport. And so one evening, Bennett was actually feeling his back was actually hurting. And he thought it may have been one of the cards, business cards, he'd picked up from somebody, and he was going through his wallet, until William Bengston actually said he was having the back pain. So Bennett was actually picking up on William's back pain. And they jokingly said, well, stop having the back pain so he wouldn't have to suffer with it. But what William Bengston said, well, why don't you get rid of it and so we'll both be all right? And he actually suggested to Bennett to put his hands on his back, and which he did, and miraculously his back got better and the pain never came back. And of course Bennett's back got better as well. That's how basically it started, and that's when they started to discover that Bennett had this energy. And William actually thinks that he probably acquired this energy basically through Bennett. He's not really quite sure whether he actually had it all the time and just it was developed, or he actually picked up the energy from Bennett. What do you think? Write your comments below. Let me see what you think, or even you think if this is all rubbish. But this book is fascinating in that sense. And of course, William Bengston has more of a scientific mind, so he wanted research. He wanted to find out why this was happening. And he actually got Bennett to do some experiments. And apparently at the time, in the 70s, they were doing quite a few experiments on ESP, extrasensory perception. But William Bengston actually got in touch with a few universities and research centers to do some experiments, and he even got Bennett hooked up to an EEG machine. That's a machine that actually measures electrical pulses in the brain. And strangely enough, like, they would do an experiment where they would give Bennett something and he would be able to pick up on like where it was, where it came from, and that sort of thing, and who had it before. And the technicians would always say that their equipment wasn't working properly. There'd be these changes in the graphs that they were getting, and they would say there was something wrong with the machine. And every time it'd be the same thing. Every time he'd pick up on something, and the graph would actually show these strange electrical impulses going on in his brain. But they would say that there was something wrong with the machine. And that leads us to the next point, which is very much in the book, that the medical profession doesn't want to acknowledge the healing energies. Because if the doctors actually recommended any of these natural healings, they'd be struck off the medical board. And so they couldn't actually do it. They'd be struck off for malpractice, hocus pocus, that sort of thing. But there's been so many cases that is actually written about that they've actually cured people with tumors, with cancer, and the list goes on. But one case was they were actually helping this lady with cancer, and they actually got rid of the cancer completely. It was completely gone. The doctors were amazed. They couldn't find any cancer in her body, but because she had it done naturally, so to speak, a bit of hocus pocus, they thought, well, we don't know if it's really gone. Let's do the chemical treatments like the chemotherapies and the other therapies for cancer. So the lady actually went through with the chemotherapies and the other treatments, and it actually ended up weakened her so much that she ended up dying from the treatments. And still, in the autopsies, they could not find any trace of cancer. Which actually goes to show that the medical system has to have something in proof and scientific. Which is why William went on to do the research. And that's when he went on to the clinical studies, trying to find out why the healing works. And he did it with his mice. They were injected with mammary cancer, which is actually quite fatal for mice. And he separated. One set of mice were not treated, and they went through and died. And the other mice, had the treatment done, the natural healing treatments. And William Bengston also got skeptics to practice the healing, people that didn't believe in any of this. And strangely enough, it still worked. All the mice that were treated healed. And they also developed an immunity to the cancer. So they never got the cancer back again. And William Bengston's also thinking if he could maybe use the blood from the people that have been cured of cancer, maybe make a vaccine to actually protect other people from developing cancer. So he's had quite a lot of success on a clinical level and countless of other success healing people. Bennett Merrick went on to actually do a lot more with healing people. He opened up a clinic to heal people, and he went on to bigger things, which is actually all in the book, and the things that happened afterwards. And William Bengston, well, he's obviously started the healing technique. He wrote the book. And another thing is that, which is quite fascinating, is that with people that don't heal from the energy therapy is because, well, this is all on a subconscious level, that people actually get attached to their ailments. Let's face it, if someone is ill, they get the attention of other people. Every time they're met with them, they'll say, oh, how are you? How's your ailment going? All that sort of thing. And people get used to it. They like the attention. So, in a way, subconsciously, they don't want to get rid of the ailment because it's something that is part of them now. And that it brings on this attachment. And what would happen if they got rid of the ailment? No one would refer to them like that anymore. And also, people, it becomes people as well. Like someone's got a bad knee and they have to use a walking stick. It becomes them and they get used to it. What would they do if they could walk properly? And strangely enough, they do tend to forget what it was like before when they could walk properly. And they just feel like they would need the walking stick, and it becomes part of them. It becomes a habit. So, in a sense, they don't want to heal. And this is all happening on a subconscious level, because you ask them, do you want to get better? Of course, they'll say yes, but subconsciously, they don't. And so, that's why sometimes it's hard to heal people. Also, he's found out that people who've had an ailment for a longer time takes a longer time for them to get better compared to someone who's just been injured or hurt or developed something. It's a lot quicker for them to get better than someone who's had the ailment for quite a while. Now, I found it a very entertaining read, and at the back, they even tell you how to do the energy healing. It's actually very simple. And also to keep your mind off the healing, which is something that I say with manifesting. Put it out there and forget about it. And it's pretty much referred to the same way, because when they're healing, they sometimes can get distracted, like with the patient or about the ailment that they have. And so they developed cycling to get their minds off it. So they put it out there, patients to be healed, and they're forgetting about it because they're cycling. And they've also found out that cycling actually helps with manifesting. And the idea with cycling is that you think of 20 things that you want, and you'd be surprised. I mean, it gets a bit difficult actually, thinking about the 20 things you want. Maybe some people find it easier. I tell you, I find it a bit hard. But 20 things that you may want, like a car, a house, a great relationship, and put a picture to it, and just flip them. 20 things, and you just keep switching between the different pictures of the car, the house, the partner, and you just keep flipping them, and that's why there's 20 to have. And it's just called cycling because you're just going through the different pictures really, really, really quickly. And people have found that the things that they've been concentrating on while they were doing it, they've actually manifested them as well. So in a way, it's ended up being a bit of a manifesting technique as well. But that is part of the healing process. So if for the healers, and that's what they do. And it's in the back of the book as well. And actually, if you do want to find out more about William Bengston, you can go to the website. It is bengstonresearch.com, and there you'll find all about William Bengston. You can find about his workshops. In fact, they do have workshops to carry on the work of the book, and you can actually practice it as well. And if anyone is in need of healing, you can actually contact the website, or actually maybe message them, and they can actually give you a list of practitioners that can actually heal if you need some healing as well. So that's it in a nutshell. I do suggest it. It's a very good read, and it lets you know what's actually out there. Maybe not recognized by the medical board, but there nevertheless. And I have heard stories of people miraculously getting cured, regardless whether it's with the Bengston technique or other healing methods. It does happen. And sometimes you wonder, do we actually put it out there to get better, or we listen to what the doctors say? Interesting. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode, please share this video, click the like button below, and if you haven't subscribed as yet, please subscribe and press the bell so you'll be notified when I do release more videos. Also, our Saturday Night Lives, you'll be notified of that as well. And join us. It's a very casual get-together online gathering. And have a look below at our links. And if you've enjoyed it, as I've mentioned, do get us a drink. It helps the channel, helps me, and I'm really appreciative. And don't forget, have a look at the links below for our affiliate shop, our online affiliate shop, our manifesting book, and also the energy t-shirts, just to name a few things down below in the links. So I've hoped you found this interesting. I hope it's inspired you to read The Energy Cure, and we're not affiliated with it as well. It's just a book review I thought I'd do because I was impressed with it. So on that note, hopefully I'll see you next time. Do subscribe so you'll be notified, and in the meantime, stay well and happy. Well, because it's good, and happy because it raises the vibration so you can attract more good things to you, help you to manifest. So on that note, look forward to seeing you next time.